F or D?
F tier, definitely.
Oh, what the
Oh
fuck?
no. You opened the Matrix.
Danganronpa 2. Where'd she go? I know the game's a simulation, but you can't hide from me. Get it out. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the HGO podcast. One of your hosts today, Ethan, and joining me as always is my good friend Hunter. Hey Hunter, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing just swell.
Kyle's still kidnapped by goblins. You can't believe it. He's we don't know where he is at this point. Please send help.
We're gonna have to start putting up missing posters soon.
You should next week. Put Kyle's face over links. Missing. There you go. No, we're still chilling. We're still vibing. I don't know. I thought finishing Metaphor would do it. I thought he'd come back. I finally finished Metaphor. I've paid my taxes. He'll come back. But now he's still avoiding us like the plague.
He just put you in friendship jail until you finish Metaphor.
That's what I thought, dude. That's what I genuinely thought, was he took it that personally that I did not finish it. That he was like, yeah, not going to talk to you again until you finish Metaphor. And I have. And what can I say? It's all right. There you go. It's simple as that. But no, we're really feeling the video game lull here, ladies and gentlemen, on the HGO podcast, because yet again we are diving deep into our bag of tricks, whatever we want to call it, and we're trying to spice stuff up. We haven't done a tier list in a while, so we thought we'd do the most degenerate, the worst tier list we could possibly think of. Yeah. We're going to rank every single Danganronpa character, ladies and gentlemen. We have not talked about Danganronpa
unless they're from the
show.
Anime, because neither of us have seen it.
Mm-hmm. And I ain't watching that shit, dude. You can't force
me. Not a chance.
No shot. So yeah, that's what we're going to do today, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to rank every single Danganronpa character from best to worst. What could possibly go wrong? I think it's going to be interesting, right? I think we don't necessarily... We've mentioned Danganronpa on this show. I think we've mentioned it quite a few times in passing, but we've never really dove into Danganronpa on this podcast that much. We've done an odd bit, an odd little thing here, maybe an odd comment.
The most that we've ever talked about it was as a comparison point to a Raincode.
Yeah, I think that's probably the closest we got. So we're diving deep here, ladies and gentlemen. We'll talk about all of our feelings, how we feel about each of the games, how we feel about the series in general, because it's an interesting one, right? And I feel like there's that audience for Danganronpa, but then there's also the normal audience for Danganronpa, which I feel like we fit in more than that.
Just a little bit.
So we're going to talk all about it, the highs, the lows, and every character ranked right here, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, if you're new here, welcome to the HO Podcast. We're here every Monday around 12 p.m. Eastern. 5 p.m. UK time on podcast services everywhere and youtube.com/hot gamers only. Housekeeping for you. A couple of reviews have gone up recently. If you haven't checked them out, you've got the Silent Hill 2 review. You've got Mika. That's also up there. We've got a load of reviews coming through the pipeline, backlogs, all of that jazz. Will there be a review for Metaphor? I might write out a review for Metaphor. I don't know how... I'm not promising anything on that point because I don't have a passionate opinion on Metaphor, really, one way or the other. It's all right. You know, that's basically the sum of my opinion on it. But hey, if I can figure out a more apt way of reviewing it, hey, I'll let you know and I'll write it up for the website. Cal's got his articles up there on the website as well if you want to check those out too. He may be gone in video and audio form, but in written form he still remains. The transcripts are leaking out of the goblin minds, dude.
He's sending the letters to the people. Know the truth.
Yeah. Oh dear. But yeah, there's plenty of stuff coming up, and then obviously as we get into February there'll be a couple of games that will either get reviews or will definitely get coverage on the podcast. Stuff like Avowed, stuff that is on Game Pass because I've still got a subscription to Game Pass, so might as well play it a little bit, I guess. But yeah, it's weird, right? Usually February I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, there's usually quite a few big games in February, you know, like you have your Elden Rings, your Breath of the Wilds, like end of February, beginning of March, your Horizons, all of those.
Yeah.
And then there's stuff coming out in February, but they're not our cup of tea, right? It's like we're not Monster Hunter.
If we liked Monster Hunter, we would be over the moon.
We're not, yeah. we're not Monster Hunter people. I could not literally. There's not a game that is the polar opposite of what I'm interested in, other than Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I think that is the polar opposite of my tastes in
Yeah.
video games. So it's like there is literally nothing for me there now that Assassin's Creed has kind of dipped out. I'll dip my toes into Avowed. We'll at least do that. But hey, find out in a couple of weeks' time, I guess. Um, there's no putting it off, Hunter. There's no rest for the wicked. In fact, let's start this discussion off. Obviously, timestamps down below. We're going to be going game by game. So we're going to go Trigger Happy Havoc, Goodbye Despair, and then obviously V3 Killing Harmony in that order. So if you want to do timestamps, we're not doing character by character timestamps. If you have a favorite character, watch the whole segment, you little schmuck. Right, anyway. Um, what's your overall opinion on Danganronpa Hunter? Let's just get that out of the
uh,
way so the good people know. How do we feel about this Dawn series? What's your opinion on it?
oh man, distilling my opinion down of Danganronpa into like an actual intelligent dissertation is hard because it's a very unintelligible series sometimes.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
they're really they're solid mystery games surrounded by a lot a lot of idiocy
Yeah,
at the end
yeah.
of the day.
I think they. I don't like using this as a descriptor because I know that there'll be some people that are like, that's really mean, and there'll be other people that really like what I'm about to describe and go, that's hurtful. And if you fall into either of those categories, sorry. But it's almost like the CW of video
Yeah,
games.
yeah, it's like the Riverdale wheat for weebs.
Yeah, basically, where it's like, it's goofy, it's dumb, it's like junk food. I will happily sit there and laugh along, but I also am not sitting there like, the writer's not intending for me to laugh at this. The writer is not, it's like, I'm going in for a ride, and it's a good ride, and it's a crazy ride, and it's an extremely stupid ride, but
Yeah.
what is intentional, what isn't from my enjoyment, God knows. But I have a good enough time. They're weird. I
It's
think the fan base
funny
is
too
extremely weird at
because
times. Like they kind of scare me, Danganronpa fans.
yeah,
They genuinely do.
I end up talking about these games with other people way
Hmm.
more than is like the ratio would be assumed by the ratio of how much I actually really like the series because
Yeah.
it's really easy to talk about. Like it's easy to generate some kind of opinion about it, whether it is just yeah, that was good, that was bad, etc.
I also feel like I get more enjoyment out of talking about it than I actually did playing it, if that makes sense. Where it's like,
Yeah,
Fruit
I
House
know
and
what you
Danganronpa
mean.
2, which was the
Oh,
most
so
miserable
bad.
experience of all time. But watching other people play it, talking about how miserable it was, condensing a Danganronpa into an hour just having a conversation is more enjoyable for me than playing the whole 30-hour video game. Like, just having that
Yeah,
conversation is a lot of fun. Um, and we're going to have plenty of time to discuss and talk about all of these characters and everything that they have to offer. Should go in saying full blown spoilers for Danganronpa's 1, 2, and V3. We can't talk about these characters and rank them without spoiling everything, right? That's just not
yeah,
possible. So, sorry if you haven't played them. This episode isn't for you. And hey, if you enjoy this episode, let us know. What would you like to see us do next? Do you want us to do a Persona 1? Do we drag Kyle back out of the Goblin mines and get him to do a Persona 1 with us? What shall we do next? Because I feel like there are plenty of franchises where I could talk about how much I like or dislike these characters a lot. I feel like there's plenty of
yeah.
potential here. So let us know. But yeah, it's just a lot of fun, isn't it? It's a lot of goofy fun, dumb fun. Let's see how it goes. Who knows? Will there be despair at the end of this podcast? Will me and Hunter argue to the bitter end on different characters? Because, I feel like we might have some different opinions on some of these characters, so let's find out, shall we? Some of them are
Yeah.
unanimous, obviously, but who knows? Let's find
Yeah,
out.
there are a lot of them that are obviously bad.
Yeah,
Uh,
right. So, let's go over, ta-da, to the tier list. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Look at all these wonderful, beautiful
uh,
characters. Um, I don't know who made this tier list, but thank you because every other tier list had all the other characters from the anime in it, and one of them just
ugh,
didn't have the Mono Kuma family in there. So it was like it was hard to find one, but there was one person, so I appreciate you. Um, and yeah, when I look at it like this, Hunter, do you know what I sit here and think? I think this is a lot of characters to go through.
oh,
Like,
it is.
oh dear. But hey. the way that I've structured these, has everyone gone in terms of spoilers? Has anyone gone into right? Cool. So the way that I've kind of gone about this is I've put the protagonist at the start, then the main characters or the characters that survive to the end, and then they're kind of in order of screen time, I guess, for a lot of them. Um, there are some exceptions that I made here, like what is a main character, what isn't a main character. Like I put, um, the two romance interests, if you would like, of Danganronpa 2 before, even though they don't survive to the end. So it's like
Yeah.
we'll talk all about it. Um, but starting off, there's no better tone setter, is there, than Makoto Naegi, everyone's favorite protagonist, and by favorite I mean
D.
what, D? Would you really put him in
D.
D?
Yes,
Really?
I hate this guy. I hate him so much.
Really?
Okay, so like I realized that the general idea behind his
Mhm.
whole thing is, be the everyman to make everyone else seem wacky. You can do that without being just the dirt worst, most boring person to exist.
Yeah, but if he did it, that means that he killed somebody, and we can't kill somebody because we're teenagers, and teenagers don't kill. Like that is
Yeah.
what his basic
And
personality
then
is,
this
and it's
and then
very
by
annoying.
s- and then the second part that's annoying about it is like every fifth line he's always being like, ah, ha, ha, I'm so ordinary. I'm so bad.
I'm
Uh,
just an ordinary guy. I'm not like these
Like
other teenagers that can kill people.
like
Like
he's
that's what
got
the yeah.
he's got like the same energy as Mishima from uh Persona 5. Like
I
loser.
don't hate Makoto as much as I hate Mishima from Persona 5. Um,
Also,
Here's
you
the
could remove him
thing.
from the story and nothing would change.
That is
The
true. He's the
mystery
only.
would have been solved
He's the only. In fact,
anyway.
it would have been solved quicker probably without
Yeah.
him his involvement. Um, yeah, I feel like D is too harsh though. We don't have an F tier. Should we have an F tier? Should that be a thing?
Oh yeah, feel like we'll need it later for some of them.
Add a row below. Cool. That's that. Let's do this. Red. Oop. Please, tier maker. This is an awful website. There we go. F. Um, I'm more comfortable putting him in D now that we have an F, because I was like, there are
Yeah.
characters that go lower than Makoto Naegi, but
Yeah.
fair enough. We'll put him in D for now. Um, Based on how this tier list goes later, we might have to move people up or down depending, but let's find out. Um,
Probably mostly down if I have to guess.
uh, Kyoko is up next.
Um, Kyoko, I would say, is probably the best character from the first game. So,
I
uh,
agree.
yeah, I'd be
I don't
inclined to.
necessarily know if I put her in the. I don't know if it's harsh to say I don't feel like she's an S tier, but I'd
It's
be
one of
fine
those
to
things
argue
where
with
if
it.
we're like, S tier character in general, I don't know. S tier Danganronpa character, I think so. you know,
True, true. You know what? That's a valid argument. I'm happy to
like
move
she
her
was the
up.
most interesting, pretty much the whole game, and that's saying something. Since the longer you exist in these games, the easier it
That's
is to shoot
true.
yourself in the foot.
I feel like it's. I feel like it's like from at least from my perspective, when I think of Danganronpa 1 has like it's the middle cast for me. It's not the cast that I like the most, but it's not the cast I like the least. So it's
Yeah,
like I'm
yeah,
just kind of a lot of these
I,
are swimming in a pool of C's where it's
yeah.
like I don't mind when
I
you
think the
go, but
really
I
good
don't hate
characters
you.
are good,
Mhm.
is what helps this cast.
Yeah. I agree. Um Next up is Aoi. I
Um,
like Aoi, okay? I don't know if this is a controversial opinion. I think she's fine. Out of the people that don't matter to the plot who survive, she's my favorite.
I definitely like her more than Makoto and this psychic guy.
Yeah,
uh,
and I like her more than stupid. What's her name? Toko. I like her more than Toko.
I forgot she survived.
Yeah. Um. But again, to me, in my head, I would like in my head she's a B, but I can understand her being a C. Like that is where I'm sitting, where it's like B for me, C for everybody else, or most people
It's
probably.
one of those things where I think B is probably fine.
Hmm.
Yeah, because like she never
Again,
did anything
there's the
horrible
potential to go
for
down. Yeah.
the duration of the time she was around.
I
Just
also like how in chapter 4, when you're dealing with the suicide case, how she almost starts to try and throw the fucking thing because I like it because it's like for someone like Makoto, who everybody is like, who spends the entire time going, "I'm just an ordinary teenager, woe is me." Everybody in these debates often acts like they have been in like this situation before, and like you've got like you've got Byakuya, just like being like, "I have been to law school for 15 years," and she just kind of she's
you can't
like,
fool me. I've played the Ace Attorney games.
yeah, basically. And she's like, "Oh no,
Uh,
my best friend." She knows that her best friend has basically killed herself, and she can't live with the idea of it. So she starts to try and throw it. And I'm like, that is a very juvenile response to that kind of situation. That's a very teenager kind of response.
yeah,
In, in when in some circumstances someone's like, "Oh no, this person's been brutally murdered," and everyone's like, "Quickly, detective caps on, find the fucking evidence." Like, she's more one of the more character. Like, it's more reasonable. That reaction is more reasonable from like a 17-year-old and 18-year-old than
yeah.
some of these guys. So fair enough. Byakuya,
Uh, I'm inclined to say at least A.
I love Byakuya, dude. I love
Yeah, I think he's great. I
you
think
love to
he's
loathe him. Like that's the
yeah,
thing.
I think he's the best like uh cast member villain, I guess, the one that isn't Monokuma.
Like rival, yeah.
Yeah,
Like kind of arsehole.
because
I agree.
he's way less of a villain than the next of the other two, but as far as in the
Well, yeah,
subsequent
one of them
games,
is
but
literally one of them. Yeah, yeah. The other two are
but
very much not right in the
but
head. Yeah.
I think that he still does really great with his amount of screen time.
I really like him. I would put him in A or S personally.
Yeah,
Um, A or S though.
yeah, I don't know. Uh, I think we could put him in S for now,
I
since like
say
I would
below
say he's the other
Kyoko.
best character in the game.
Same, but if he has to drop down, if we're being too kind to some of these abominations, then we can move him down later. Um, Hero. Listen, I
Uh,
don't think he's an F. I think he's a strong D though.
okay, I can settle for that.
I don't hate him enough to put him in F, but yeah, I'm just like, why are you here? Like, what was your point? I feel like his only point of existence was for him to die in the demo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For those of you who are
Uh,
unaware, they made a demo of Danganronpa, and so that it didn't spoil the main game, it basically was a completely different. It was a different case where Hero died. So in my head, I'm always like, the only reason he makes it to the end is because they just, they were killing him off in the demos. They were like, oh, we can't spoil anything, so guess he's living. Um,
yeah, I think I realized how much I didn't care for this goof when chapter 3 revolved around framing him for a crime that he obviously didn't do, and I
and
didn't
you're
feel
like,
the least bit bad about it. I
oopsie
was like,
daisy.
honestly, yeah, let's just accuse him. I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like. I feel like D is a fair place for him right now. I feel like that's again, he's not in the depths of Danganronpa despair, but he's pretty mediocre. Uh, Toko, dude. I hate this character. I really do. I do not. I hate everything about this character. I hate
You don't like the
Majak.
split personality.
I hate the yeah, I hate the murderer personality. I hate the simping for Byakuya. I hate literally everything about this character. The whole the classic guys are gross. Guys, like that kind of thing. I'm like, "Ugh, I can't. Whatever."
They're always compelled to have one of those in each of these games in some
Yeah,
extent, and she's definitely I honestly forgot that was part of her thing, but also she's the worst one at it.
yeah. I'm not a fan of her really.
Like, I
How are
feel
you
like they could
feeling?
have went. I I'm not as off put by her as you are, but I feel like they could have went her. I feel like the murderer thing was underutilized as far as the split personality
It felt
thing.
like it felt like something that obviously they wanted to incorporate that in chapter 2 as like a plot twist. And then they were like, "Oh shit, we're now stuck with this thing for like the rest of the game, so we have to kind of make it feel like it's a thing." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's one of those goofy things where if this was in a later Danganronpa game, it still probably would have been a chapter 2 twist, but then they probably would have killed her off in chapter 3. You know what I mean? Like she probably would have been a
Yeah, yeah,
victim to get rid of it, as if um what wipe the rug with it. Like what that's for. But yeah, I mean, I'm happy to put her in D again.
yeah. I think D feels right because I don't think she's as bad as some of the truly awful characters in the series.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay. Sayaka. Are you impressed by the? I'm not reading this off of us. We're just like, if I forget a name, I'm forgetting a name. But so far, so good, right? Okay,
yeah,
Sayaka.
so far this is better than your usual average for
Yeah,
things.
I'm going for
Horizon
it. I'm
should
going for a
never.
good batting average today, Hunter. Sayaka. The only things I remember about Sayaka is childhood friend with Naegi, was a singer, and there's that weird thing on the internet where some guy was like making a load of cardboard cutouts of her, and that's all I remember.
Yeah, it's one of those things where she's
She's not in the game enough for me. She's one of those characters where she's made to be likable because you know she's about to die straight away. Like you knew that she was going to be the first person to die just by the way that the whole game was set up.
to be fair to that, I'm probably happy she didn't stick around.
Hmm.
Seemed like she would have been lame if she had been around longer.
And I think
So
that there's some interesting kind of character. What I find interesting about her character is she's in the game for a very little amount of time, but she does manage, unlike some of the characters who are the first to die in these games. Like I'm mainly thinking about Danganronpa 2 with Fatia. Um,
yeah,
she
she
manages,
just showed to be manipulative.
yeah, 100%, and she managed to leave a lasting impact, and not only like in my memory where I'm like, yeah, she was a kind of a prick, like she was kind of not a nice person. Um,
Yeah.
it was obvious she had some kind of you know emotion towards Naegi, but also she was willing to use him to get out of this whole thing. Uh,
Honestly fair, but
yeah, fair.
um, uh,
He's kind of cute, but he also kind of sucks. Let's kill him.
yeah,
You go, sister. I put her in like C. She's like a
yeah.
C
C's
character to me.
right because she wasn't offensive, but she wasn't around for very long.
It's like Hero would be a C to me if he died in chapter 1. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
the longer that you stay around, the more you annoy me.
yeah.
Um, Leon.
Uh
Ugh.
See, he also wasn't around long enough, but I feel like the impressions he leaves are being one of the only people to actually use his talent during the murder. um, or during the crime itself. I don't he didn't actually murder her that way, but it was disposing of the evidence or whatever, I mean.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh and then I think his execution is one of the best one in this game, I'd say.
yeah. I mean, here's the thing. Again, I'd put him in D. Like that's where I'd sit with this bugger. Is like I'd sit him in D. That's where I would
Mm,
like as a character. Yeah, he's got a cool execution or whatever. But as a character, all he was just like screamy guy. I'm angry. Let me the fuck out. What are you doing? Like, and then it's just like I don't know. To me, he just kind of he gives off
Yeah,
meh vibes.
I have completely forgotten his personality to be fair. So yeah, if you think he belongs in D, then who am I to
No,
argue?
do I hate him more than Toko and Hero? Uh,
Uh,
I'll leave you there for now. I might change that. I might come back to you later. Um, no, God, here we go. First one. Can't remember her name. All I remember is she was a computer at one point. Chihiro.
there you go.
Nailed it.
Yeah,
Chihiro was fine. Uh,
yeah.
when you look at it now with a 2025 lens, Was everything that they did with this character perfectly to taste? No. But
It's also
also
not as heinous as I feel like this series could be about it.
and also, is it as heinous as, like, Persona was in 2008 or
Yeah,
2016 with some of its stuff? Like, no.
yeah, like, it's a mirror honestly, even the series that we're talking about, it's a miracle that it's not worse.
Yeah, yeah, 100%.
Uh,
Maybe it is in the Japanese translation, but I don't know.
maybe.
Oh, maybe the translators did a miracle, on it. I thought she was fine, I did kinda feel bad for them at the end. Like, that was the thing was it was, like,
Yeah,
it was probably one of the only sometimes I'm like, there are some like I say, there are some character murders later on in the series where I'm like, "Oh, that's a shame." Whereas I feel like this is the only one in this game where I was like, "Oh, that's a shame." Because there's obviously there's the one in chapter 4, but I was already expecting her to die at that point. Because I was
yeah,
like, "We're running out of things for you." So,
yeah.
um, and just the reasoning behind it as well with the whole Mondo thing. It's like it's a very chapter 2 is like I think is it my favorite case from Danganronpa 1? It might be my favorite case from Danganronpa 1 to be honest. I think it's a very it turns up the heat very quickly and you have all the
Yeah,
Byakuya stuff.
I think
It's
it's
an
the best
interesting
put
one.
together one.
Mm, yeah. Where are you feeling on Chihiro, Hunter? Where would you
Um,
put them?
I think B sounds good.
Yeah, I'm happily putting them in B. What about Mondo and his weird haircut, which I still don't understand how it works?
Yeah, I don't understand it, but it's also not like isolated to just him. It's like a thing,
Yeah, I know, it's very
but
bizarre.
but uh, I don't know. Given the proportion, uh, screen time, personality, and how interesting I found him, I'd be willing to put Mondo as high as A. I think.
Really?
Yeah, I think that his motivation and all of that, him being or the him snapping at the end or whatever.
Yeah.
He wasn't like a bad dude or anything. He just kind of lost it in the heat of the moment there.
Yeah, I can agree with that. We'll stick you in A for now. Celestia, I thought Celestia was an interesting character.
I think
Um,
she's pretty cool design wise, and the once the cracks all started to show.
I think I'd put her in A. I think that
Yeah,
she's a very solid character as well, to be honest. I'd put her above Mondo. They're very much like, again, I think they're good, you know, they're good blackened. Like, when, you know what I mean? Like, there's like,
yeah, yeah,
they're good examples of people where it's like, with Celestia, just playing the game, the odds were that in her head, now was the best time to go for this, And it was
yeah.
like, and for Mondo, it was like, not necessarily intentional. I think it makes for a good
The
uh
series in general, I
scene.
think, is much better at picking the blackened than they are the victims,
Oh,
as
100%,
far as like
100%.
generating emotion towards it. Because I had a friend, it would have been months ago at this point, asked me one time who my favorite of like the murder victims were, and I had to like stop and think about it because none of my strong feelings really tie much to them most of the time.
Yeah, it's weird,
Mhm.
right? Where it's like there's a part of me that obviously as we get later into the series, there is more where I'm like, oh, that sucks or whatever. But there was always a part of me where it's like I always have in each of these casts at the start of the game, I always have a favorite of the non-importance, or at least who I deem to think are non-important, right?
Yeah.
For example, Aoi was probably my favorite non-important in Danganronpa 1 for some whatever weird reason. And I go in knowing for a fact that I think this person is going to be a victim in one of the chapters. And then I magically get through the entirety of the game and they end up not being being one of the only survivors. And I'm like, is that just like by chance or is that like an intentional thing like where they go, okay, we'll make this extremely killable person and then leave them through the whole of it? Like, I don't
Oh,
know
it's
what
it
the
definitely
logic
seems
is.
like it's by design in the second game because almost everybody who's extremely killable survived in that one.
Yeah, true. um
Uh,
but yeah, I hate chapter threes in Danganronpa period. I think they're the worst chapter in all three games. Bang bang bang, triple kill.
Yeah,
But also Celestia is definitely my favorite Blackened from a chapter 3. Can say that
yeah,
happily.
yeah.
Not even close. Right. I do not remember this fucker's name. I do not. I'm not even gonna try and remember. Like, he was so forgettable and
The
shy.
ultimate hall monitor.
The ultimate Kamehameha as he goes fucking Super
Oh
Saiyan
my
in the
god.
second act of his life. What was his name?
I don't remember his full name, but they called him Taka.
That was it, yeah, Taka. I'd happily put him in F, dude. I was happy when he fucking ranked.
F?
Yeah,
Yeah, all
I'd
right.
happily put him
I'm
in F.
down. He sucks.
He sucks, dude. He's just the ultimate. He's the ultimate narc. Then his buddy dies. Then he goes Super Saiyan, goes crazy, and then dies again. Like it's like, what was the point of that? It was
Yeah,
so
like
dumb. And while we're here, just put Hifumi in fucking F as well. Like just get
God,
both of
yeah.
them down. Bang
So
bang.
bad.
Goodbye.
Like genuinely Celestia should have gotten a pardon for helping society.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking. To be fair,
It was a public service.
she could have very easily have gotten Hifumi to kill himself just by walking up a flight of stairs. You know what I mean? She could have just told him, "Hey,
Yeah, it's
Hifumi,
true.
climb to the third floor." He would have died, and there would be no evidence
As
because she just
fast
had
as
to
you
tell him.
can.
Yeah, like that's all she had to tell him. Like that was it. Um, yeah, both unfortunately it was not sad when either of them went. I was like, thank God. I think that's what I said. I think I sent you a message where I was like, thank God Hifumi's dead. Like I've been
That
waiting for
probably
this moment.
happened.
Like, oh my
I'm pretty
gosh.
sure I popped off when he died too.
Ugh, he's just like genuinely.
Like when what's his face there died, I was like, well, okay, bye. I was
Yeah,
genuinely happy when Hifumi did it.
genuinely. And the worst part is they managed to make a worse one. At least they kill him early in Danganronpa 2, but they made a worse version
Yeah.
of him as well. Like, my God. Awful, awful character. Uh, is it Sayaka?
Uh Sayaka's the
No,
singer.
no.
This
What's her
is
name? Does it begin with an A? Is S? Is it begin with an S?
it starts with an S, yes.
Sakura. Sakura.
Yeah, it is Sakura.
Ding, 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 ding. I liked Sakura. I thought she was pretty
Uh,
solid, to be honest.
yeah, I think
Um,
she's an easy A for me.
yeah, I think she's. I think she's above. Like,
Yeah,
I like
it's
Sakura
above
quite a
both
lot.
of them.
Yeah,
I think she was used pretty much as far as she could go in the story,
and I really like, obviously, because of the way
really
that
effectively the whole time.
the chapter 4 is another one of my favorite chapters in Danganronpa 1. I think it's really well done. I think it's interesting. I think it's very it's what's weird to me is I feel like as the Danganronpa games go on and on and on, they try and make the whole scenarios more and more elaborate. And sometimes I
Yeah.
think the beauty of the first game is how simple
It's
the
the most
premises are.
straightforward,
It's the
and
most
that's why it's so
logical.
good. Yeah, like,
Yeah.
it's the most straightforward chapter to chapter most of the time, and I think the general mystery is the most straightforward. It's the most palatable one, I would
And it
say.
still does, and it still does its weird stuff. It still has like chapter 5 and stuff like that, where it's like,
Yeah.
it does that kind of spin and it's always interesting. But it manages to keep it in a believable sense where I'm like, not necessarily like, where it's like, oh, that's a cool like little twist to do like a suicide trapped like, locked room
Yeah.
puzzle. Like there's some really interesting stuff there. I like it quite a bit. And I also like that it's like the logic of it, giving them that's the thing that gives them the determination to stop killing each other. Is like, again, in the way that Aoi's response to it was, she was trying to get everybody killed because they got to the point where Sayaka killed herself. Fucking Sakura killed herself. I like the idea that that was also the moment where it was like, we need to stop. And Monokuma got
Yeah.
pissed because he very much then realized no one's going to kill each other now. That's it.
Yeah, and that's
The
when he
killing
started
stopped.
with the, he
Mukuro
tried to rig the
Ikasaba.
next one.
Yeah, Mukuro Ikasaba.
The 16th student
16th.
hidden in
To
the
be fair,
basement of
like
the
To be fair, I'll never get chills when the do 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 like just
Yeah,
starts
yeah,
playing.
New
Like,
World
oh
Order just
yeah,
pops
New World
off.
Order
Yeah.
is just like the greatest. There's a moment in V3 where it starts playing, and I'm like, honestly, I was mad. I was
Dude, I
screaming at
nearly
you.
stood up from my
But the chills,
seat.
dude, the
Yeah.
chills. It's one of my favorite songs in like it's one of my favorite like pieces of music in any game soundtrack in terms of just the way that it impacts it. It's like, oh, it's so good. It's so good.
Yeah.
Brilliant stuff. Um Speaking of Mukuro Ikasaba, I actually like I like this twist. I do think it's really interesting. I like it quite a
It
bit.
she's effective as a plot device,
As a
certainly.
character,
Um,
not
I
so much. As a
I
plot
I
device.
honestly because I know, like, what, if you hang out with Junko in the beginning of the game
Mhm.
before she,
Yep.
before Monokuma kills her, it's actually Mukuro and whatever, so you can get a little bit of insight into her, but I didn't do that. And I have
Yeah.
not replayed these games, so, like,
You just get little
it's
bits and
up in the air.
pieces, you know.
Yeah.
I've seen little, I what I found interesting is, I can't remember if I think it's in Danganronpa. Is it in Danganronpa 2 or is it in just the release of 1 where there's like the comic that you can read? There's like the visual, there's like they did like a novel and they kept it in the collection and you can read it and it
Oh.
gives you some more information about Mukuro quite a bit. Um I think she's a really interesting character. I I almost wish I think it's a really clever plot device. I think it really does keep you off of Junko's trail for a long time. Like genuinely, like I wasn't even
Yeah,
thinking
yeah.
about it
I
as a possibility, which I think is really interesting.
I
I think it's
it
the
it
best version of the end twist of who the culprit is. I think is the best twist
definitely,
by a long shot,
d
by a long
certainly,
shot.
like, I felt insane when I put it together, but I was also very, like, adamant that it was going to be what it is.
Yeah, totally. Um, so yeah, I'm indifferent on it either way. Like where would you say Hunter?
I I think C feels
That's where
right
I
just
was
because, like,
thinking. I was thinking C.
it's a good twist and, by virtue of not really being a non-entity, she's still less infuriating than the people in the tiers underneath.
I also think it's really funny that these two are very similar, that they're not in the game that long. They both make a lasting impression, and for some reason, they both have a crush on the most boring person on the fucking planet. So, it all adds up. It makes perfect sense. Um, God, Naegi's literally. I don't get Naegi. I really don't get it. I really don't get it.
I don't get it either.
All these girls are like, oh, he's really cute, and he's just sitting there going, I'm just a normal guy. Why am I here? I hate myself. Like, why? Like, what is this? What is this?
Dude, he's like it's like the classic anime protagonist that isn't like
He's the
from a
self-insert,
shonen.
isn't he? He's the self.
Yeah, yeah.
Whoever wrote this game was like, okay, I'm very much like Makoto Naegi. I need to give myself at least 2 love interests. Like, that's what they did. That's basically what they did. Um, and I'm gonna kill both of them off really early. Um, Junko.
Ugh.
Where do
Well,
we
this
go
has
with
to be kind
Junko?
of this has to be kind of all encompassing now, doesn't it?
Yeah, I
Oh,
guess. It's up to you. Or we can rank it as we think of her as Danganronpa 1, and then we can come back to her later and reassess when we talk about 2, if you would like to do that. I'm happy to do that.
yeah, because I think she's the most effective in the first game
Yeah,
because
I agree. I
that's
think
when it becomes
does she
it's the least annoying.
does she really does she overstay her welcome at the end with like the 3-hour monologue? 100%.
Yes, but
But also, it was one of those
make
things where
it
it's like,
exponentially worse.
yeah, and it was also one of those things where I'm like, it's actually, like I say, when you think about the twist, when you think about all of it, it's really interesting in the way that it plays out. And it's like, I never suspected Junko from the start, like, at all. Like, ultimate fashion designer or whatever, I'm like, who
Yeah.
gives a crap? Forgettable, probably going to die super early on, and they did. And I was like, oh, well, there you go, right? Forgettable ultimate ability, you know, out of the game from the very start, comes back into it. I'm like, just the idea of it. I'm like, there's some interesting stuff. The weird like voices that she does. I'm like, for the first 30 minutes, it's not that annoying. It gets more annoying as we go on, but for the first 30 minutes, I'm like, okay, she is batshit crazy. Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, in one, I like her enough. I wish that the
Yeah.
monologue wasn't as long because I remember when I finished it, it was 4 a.m. when I was sitting there, and I'm like, please make it stop. I want to go to bed, please.
See, I think I had the good fortune, at least when I played the first 2 games, that I, like, was finishing them up in, like, the middle of the afternoon.
Yeah, lucky you. I was doing
So,
it at
I
night. I'm
wasn't
like, oh.
sitting there at, like, the dead of night hoping that they wrap it up so I can sleep at least.
All I remember was I was up until 5 a.m. when Danganronpa 1 finished. I'm like, I'm gonna learn from this. When I play Danganronpa 2, I'm gonna start it like 2 hours earlier than I did the last time, and then it ended up going for 2 hours more. So I was still up at 5 a.m. in 2. I was like, no. Ugh. And then 3, I think I did finish in like the middle of the afternoon or the early evening. Because I was like, I'm not falling for this a third time. Um, but no, I like Junko enough. From
Yeah.
1, I'd at least put her in B,
Yeah, B
top of
sounds
B.
right.
I mean, Monokuma, what a goat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, ass. Like, it's not even
Yeah.
a. Yeah, right at the top, dude. Like, he's just a legend, isn't he? Like, honestly, I didn't really understand it. I'm like, there's this weird bear thing. Why do people like him so much? But he is just kind of really funny. He just kind of is. He's just very funny. He's totally like it's totally nonsensical, but you buy it straight away. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
it's great. Like,
yeah,
the game would be much less interesting if he wasn't
without
there,
him, yeah, 100%.
or if it was a more bland kind of, face for the mascot, or for the, what am I looking for? If it was just, like, boring jigsaw kinda guy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. For this the identity is like, yeah, it's really, yeah, it's iconic. He's iconic. Of course he is. Look
Yeah.
at him. Uh, right, one game down. Here you go, Danganronpa 1
2 to
fans.
go.
Here's our list so far. Do you agree? I don't think that's a controversial take right there. I don't think
Honestly, I
there's
don't.
anything that's controversial there. I think the only thing that might be controversial is people will think we're being too harsh on Makoto, but I
Yeah,
think it's valid.
maybe. But, yeah, I
I
think
think,
our general, like, top section there is relatively agreed upon.
yeah, I think that's pretty solid. Right. Danganronpa 2, Killing Harmony. I feel like, hello Danganronpa 2 fans, if you were skipped to forward to this timestamp, uh, I'm hoping that this is a safe space. Danganronpa 2 is my least favorite Danganronpa game. And I feel
It
like
is
that is a
also
controversial
mine.
take. I
It
feel
it
like we're
feels
that,
like it's the crowd favorite for some reason, and I, for the
which is
life of me,
also
don't get it.
funny because I got a friend to play Danganronpa. He hasn't played 3 yet. He's only played 1 and 2. And his opinion is also that he preferred the first game to the second game. So I'm like, we exist. I don't know if it's just the internet makes you believe the opposite of what your own opinion is, but
Yeah.
you know, to me, and here's the thing, I think it has some brilliant cases. I adore Chapter 5. Chapter 5 is one of
Yeah.
my favorite chapters in Danganronpa history. I think it's
Yeah, chapter
phenomenal.
5's really good. I think the second chapter in
Chapter
this
2
game
is
is
also
really good.
very solid.
Yeah.
But
Unfortunately, 3 and 4 are the dirt worst of the series.
somehow, yes, if not the worst. Despair disease, my goodness. Here we go. Um, and also, it's got my least favorite cast. There are so many
Yeah.
unlikable like, don't get me wrong, I adore Chiaki. I like Nagito quite a bit. I think he's quite funny. Mafia Boy, I
Yeah, I
think
think
is
he's
also
good.
a
Gundam
good show.
is a
Gundam
favorite
is
of
an
mine.
absolute legend. For anybody wondering, if you have been paying attention to the first one, who was my random person that I thought they're all right, but they'll probably die, but they made it to the end. It was Sonya in this one. That was the person that was in
Yeah.
mine. So, but let's start with Johnny Young Bosch himself. Him, little Hajime. How do you feel about him? I think he's better than right. I think he's
I
better
think
than
he's
Naegi. He's not
yeah,
much
he's
better
a
than
he,
Naegi.
he so he's I think they do the everyman thing better with him,
Mhm.
and he's not spending every 5 lines going, "Aha, I'm so ordinary," at least.
Ooh, yes. I
Yeah.
agree.
He's also not playing sidekick to the actual hero of the story. Like, it's
I
more of
also
a
think he's
full-on
still middle ground though.
collaboration.
I still
Yeah, I
think he's
agree.
still like
I think his ceiling is C,
yeah, I
but
think he's the top of C tier. Like we're at the
I think
right, there you go. I think we're in the exact
I'm
same
just
belt.
saying I think he's much better than Makoto
Yeah, I
for all of
agree.
those reasons.
I agree. I'm also of the opinion that I think that Danganronpa protagonists get better as the games go on. So I feel
Yeah.
like I don't think that's controversial at all. But yeah, he's such a nothing burger, dude. That's the thing, and it's the same with Makoto in the first game. Is they're just such like you know. And I hate the.
Yeah.
I'm Here's the thing is I up until the very end, like up until chapter 6, I would have even have gone, hey, you know what? I like you that much more than Makoto. Stick you in B. All the stupid despair stuff that they do at the end with his stupid long hair and all that jazz brought him back down again for me. Where I'm
Dude,
like,
that's
no,
the
do
twist
not
is
care
so
about
goofy.
this. The twist is goofy and it's dumb, and I do not like it. So it just brought
Yeah.
him back down in my like in my estimation. So yeah, see, perfectly happy with that. Uh, Everybody's favorite character in Danganronpa 2 for some reason, uh, Nagito. I
Um,
don't know how to feel about
this
Nagito
is a
sometimes. I really
this
don't.
is mildly controversial, but like B.
B, is that what you? Ooh.
B. Like I'm not as big on his hijinks as the rest of the internet seems to be. Like he makes things interesting against the kind of sand that is this cast sometimes. But
This is what I will say. Chapters 1, 2, and 3, I think he's fucking awful. Chapters 4 and 5, I think he's really good. And I think that's
yeah,
where I think I'm almost leaning to agree with you with B, Hunter. Just because when you're playing as him for a little bit in chapter 4, I think that's really interesting. And then
yeah,
the whole chapter 5 is again, it's like genuinely that is Danganronpa at its best. It
yeah,
might as well be the best episode of Danganronpa in the series. And it's just like it's so damn good, and the way that his arc actually reaches its climax, I think, is so well done that I almost forgive a lot of the shite from the start.
yeah.
Now I still think he's the top of B, so far. I would put him over Junko, especially because I think Junko's going to go down at the end of Danganronpa
Yeah,
2.
once we
Uh,
reassess for subsequent
but I
uh,
think that that's actually a pretty valid place for them to go. Chucky.
the other most popular character in the game, and I actually understand this one.
Yeah, I did too. I put her in
Yeah,
S tier, dude. I put her in S
yeah,
tier. I don't mind. I'll be a simp for Chucky, dude. Like what? Though? Like why not? No, fuck it. She is better than fuck it. I'm putting her there. She's great. Like I really like
yeah,
her as a balance because like I love Kyoko. She's great, right? She's great.
yeah,
But also, because she's the ultimate detective, she kind of just she is the answer machine. She does all the work, whereas
yeah. She steamrolls
Hajime
everybody
and
because she's the
Chiaki actually
smartest person in
feel,
the
yeah,
room.
Hajime and Chiaki actually feel like they're working it out together, like they've been forced
Yeah,
into a situation or are actually trying to work it out here. Uh, it's a better dynamic, I think.
yeah. I do think that the dynamic between Chiaki and Hajime is better. That's probably also part of what puts Hajime so far and away above Makoto.
Yeah, totally.
Uh,
Um, I like her.
but
She's quite.
yeah, it was one of
She's
the
also a
only
gamer, guys, and I'm
yeah,
a gamer, so that's pretty pog.
like likes video games and likes to sleep is two of my favorite
My
things too.
personality.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my mental illness. That's crazy. What
Yeah,
the
exactly. Which of course, she's the most one of the most popular characters in the series because that's also
That's
everybody who likes this
me.
series.
That's
Yeah,
me. Oh, yeah, she's great.
yeah.
God, I can't remember what my little guy's called. Little mafia man. What's he called? What's his name start with, Hunter? Let's play that game. What's his
It
name
starts
start with?
with an F.
Is it? Yeah. Oh God, I can't remember what his name is. You're gonna have to say it. Say it, and I'll remember it.
Fuyuhiko
For you,
is
I
his
knew it
name.
was like I knew it had a U in it. I knew it was like Fuse something. I was like, oh yeah, Fuyuhiko. I like
You know what
Fuyuhiko.
the
She's pretty
truly
good.
silly thing about this is it's very
What?
good that you're able to do this all without a cheat sheet. I also haven't had to look any of these clowns up yet.
Together, we're working it out, dude. We're working it
Yeah.
out. Fuyuhiko is I like him quite a lot, to be honest. I think
Yeah, I think he's
he's
really
one of the
good.
few characters in Danganronpa that actually goes on an arc where,
Yeah, he's one of the it is a novel concept.
he starts off as an asshole, then he has chapter 2 happen, and then he slowly gets to the point where he builds himself up to be a good member of the team. Again, working with everybody to, come to a common ground. I like him quite a lot.
I think the only bit of criticism I might have is that it feels like they kind of speed run the arc
Yeah,
when he's around for the whole game. I feel like they could have had to be a slower burn to
totally. I
yeah.
think it's mainly because of how batshit crazy the chapter 5 and stuff is. I can understand it, but they could
Yeah.
have had it drag out a little bit more through 3 and 4. It does feel like by chapter 3 he's like straight in it, and I'm like, okay,
Yeah, yeah. Where
that could
it's
have been
like
his
if
breathing room.
yeah, it's like where if it's almost like if they would have done it in a way where it was a slower burn. Chapter 4 could have been a situation where maybe he made the choice that Gundam did instead as
Hmm.
like a pseudo redemption thing.
Yeah. Where would you put him, Hunter?
I'd say A.
I
I'm
would also
feeling.
say, yeah. I don't know where. I'd probably put him there. What are you
Yeah,
thinking?
that feels right.
By the way, this is the first time we're doing a tier list, ladies and gentlemen, and Hunter can actually see my screen. We finally figured that technology out. So, for once we're actually doing this properly. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, yeah. Whereas every other time we're out here naming the tiers other goofy stuff and I'm never bothering with it, and I'm just
Yeah, this
like,
is the first time we've actually just done normal tiers as well, which is nice. I appreciate it. Sonia. She's a nothing burger, dude. She's like a C. She's like,
yeah,
again, the only reason that she's not for a D is because I actually think her banter with Gundam is quite funny and how annoyed it makes this fucking pink haired freak. I kind of appreciate that she makes his
yeah.
life a little bit more miserable. So,
Uh,
she has some funny lines. That's what I'll
yeah,
give her.
yeah,
She'll have
yeah,
some funny lines.
yeah. I was, I think I was misremembering part of chapter 2. I was about to bring up the whole like goofy. She thought she was someone else thing, but isn't that's the other girl, right?
She thought she was someone else.
Like at one point, what was the whole thing? Like I don't remember anymore. Is the
Oh
problem?
no, he's got despair disease. Oh no.
Yeah,
Um, All I remember from chapter 2 was in my head, I'd worked out, I'd been like, because I was going like 6 head levels of intellect on this game, where I was trying to work it out, and I had literally, I don't remember if I ever told you the full story, I don't remember the full story anymore, Hunter, but I had come up with the most elaborate way that it was Sonya who was the culprit of chapter 2 before I'd finished it. And then the thing that was funny was the game went along with my theory up until a point and then stopped there. And I was like, and then there'll be this twist. And I was like, oh no, I made I made another 2 hours of a chapter here. But
I feel like I did that when I played Raincoat, where
overstepped it. Yeah,
I overshot what I thought they were gonna do.
yeah, totally, totally. Uh, yeah, I'd give her a C. I'd put her above
Yeah,
those two. I'd put her like there. That's where I'd put her.
yeah,
I'll
yeah.
stick her
She at
there.
least exists for more than 2
Next
hours.
up is Akane. Right, that's a name.
Yeah, Kane.
Uh, she's like a more annoying version than out of Aoi. That's how I describe her.
It is perplexing how that's the case because I agree, but I also don't for the life of me understand why
Why?
because they're like completely different.
Yeah, just 'cause they both like food
Yeah, I guess so.
and they both play that role and they both make it to the end.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I'm like I'm like this is like C at best.
Yeah,
I'd
that's
happily go
also a
for
C
D,
for
but
me.
it'd be low C. Like it'd be there. Like that's
Yeah,
where I'd
yeah.
stick it.
Like, I don't think she's truly offensive in any way, but she
Yeah.
was also, like, 100% killable and survived the
Yeah,
whole
and she
time, so,
survives.
you know?
You're totally killable. Why didn't you die? Um,
Surviving
God,
cast of Danganronpa 2 would be like
I know, right? Ugh. The miserable part is technically they all survive. Ugh.
Oh, right.
Is it? I can't remember what his name is. It's not Axel. What's his name? I know Axel's Kingdom Hearts.
I understand how you'd arrive at that, conclusion given his haircut and,
Yeah,
that he's the ultimate mechanic.
it's not. Yeah, what is his name? Go on.
Kazuichi Soda.
Kazuichi Soda. That's his name. Fucking D or F.
Duh. I I don't well, I think he could go at the top
Bottom.
of F.
Okay. I don't disagree.
Yeah.
He's just annoying. Why?
I
He's
hate him.
annoying. All he does is simp the whole time. He gets angry when the Chad Gundam Tanaka is flexing his incredible
Personality.
personality. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
like, that's the problem with Kazuichi here is, like, he's as lame as Makoto and Hajime, except, you know,
you're
he's
not playing as him.
yeah, you're not playing as him. There's no reason for him to have to be the boring everyman, but he's even worse because he's one of those idiots I went to school with, you know?
Hell yeah. And then speaking of fucking
Speaking of
abysmal,
F tier,
getting the I can't even remember his name. Did it give him a T?
Teru Teru.
Knew it. Teru
Yeah,
Teru.
yeah.
Awful
His
garbage.
execution is rad though.
I wish, yeah, I wish they fucking just throw him back in again. You know, like
Yeah,
double
yeah.
second round into the volcano. Yeah, what an awful character. Like genuinely, what an awful character. And then they like, oh, but don't you
They try
feel
to
bad
like
because about his mom? I'm like, no, burn him
I'm like, I don't
alive.
know. His sleazy personality kind of still prevents that.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't care. And also the way, like, I don't get me wrong. I know someone's gonna go in the comments when he goes and has his southern accent. People are gonna go, that's because he has a, I can't remember what the accent is, but there's a specific Japanese accent from down south, like that southern of the country. So they decided to do a southern accent as a representation of that. Is it Fukushima? I don't remember where it was, but it's definitely not Fukushima now. I'm thinking about it. But it was still dumb. All dumb. All dumb. Bye
I,
bye.
I did kind of like when he starts breaking down and just screaming celebrity names for no reason,
Yeah.
like just out of context, just pushed into a corner. And his defense is Paris Hilton.
Yeah.
That was stupid. Like, I played the first two of these games out in like the living room or whatever, and my brother was sitting next to me playing something else, and he like looked over. He's like, "What? What? Why?"
Hunter, the only Danganronpa fan who's confident enough in himself that you'll play it in front of other people. Um,
Uh,
Fatia. Um, I like the idea again of the ultimate kind of like imposter. I think it's an
yeah,
interesting kind of idea, but
I
they
feel
do
like this
absolutely
would have been
nothing with
better
it.
if it was a longer con.
Yeah, I agree. And I also, like I say,
I
I
also
never
feel
really
like,
believed it.
yeah, I never thought that it was actually Byakuya. Um,
Yeah.
I also feel like maybe the ultimate imposter thing could have had a more interesting angle. Even I know this sounds silly since they picked a character we're familiar with specifically because they're an imposter,
Yeah.
but I feel like picking somebody that we weren't familiar with and suddenly their whole identity being thrown into question at like the late stage of the game would have been a
Yeah.
more interesting angle to go with.
100%. I don't hate him enough to be F,
Yeah, yeah, I
but
don't
I'd still
know.
say D.
Yeah.
Nothing really happens with him.
I also don't think that, like, haha, he's fat. Stupid, stupid joke.
Yeah, stupid joke. I agree. Uh, Next up, Maharu?
Mahiru is her name. Good job.
Thank you. C.
Yeah, very C character.
Again, they do nothing with her at all. Like, all her thing is again is, I hate guys. Stay away, Hajime, and then she dies. Then it's like, oh, well,
Yeah.
maybe you should have stayed close to somebody then, you weirdo. Um, she's one of those characters that, she's just there to die at some point. You're like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I forget, like, there was some, like, goofy motivation for why she died with the whole, like they went about it super convolutedly with, like, the video game thing, the arcade machine before the
Oh yeah, that
actual
was the thing. Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
remember the specifics of it anymore because, like, I barely mourned her death, so I'm not going to,
Wasn't she involved in a girl's death?
yeah, that was I think was, like, allegedly Fuyuhiko's sister or
Yes,
something.
it was. That was it.
Yeah,
Fuyuki's sister died, and four people were involved, and I think it was Mahiru, annoying little girl. Um,
it would have been then Fuyuhiko and Peko, right?
yeah, Peko and Fuyuhiko. Yeah, must have been. Um, but yeah, it's just again nothing bigger of a character really, and she lived longer, so she has more time to be a nothing burger. So I guess she wins that, and then these two make more of a lasting impact in their one chapter than this fucker does in two. So
Yeah.
yeah, I stand by that. Uh, Peko, I like Peko. Interesting
I think
character.
Peko's pretty good. The
She's a
whole
B, I think maybe an A. I don't know, maybe a B. Eh? I think you can
I
make
could
the
go
argument.
either or. She's very like she very much being in chapter 2 is funny because her situation feels very similar to Mondo's as far as
Yeah.
goes out early. The motivation is really good. I think the uh play between her and Fuyuhiko before her execution is really good.
Yeah, I would, yeah. I'd stick it with Mondo then. They're very similar.
Yeah.
I do think people are gonna get mad at this one here, dude. People are gonna get mad at this one.
They're
I, s-
gonna come for us with
I still
pitchforks and it's
stand
gonna
by
be
it. My
funny.
argument is, listen, guys. If we were talking about last two chapters and last two chapters only, we'd be moving him up here. But
Yeah.
chapters 1 through 3, down you go. Uh, oh, I don't remember her name because I just was waiting for her to fucking die the whole time. This
Oh,
annoying little fuck.
what
Um,
I don't even call her by name. So with this one, I just call her Tiny Brat when I refer to her.
Gremlin, yeah. Like, what the
Yeah.
hell? Well, the F or D.
F tier definitely.
Oh, what the
Oh
fuck have I
no.
done there? Guys, don't look, don't look, don't look. I went into the Matrix.
You opened the
Shh.
Matrix.
I opened. It's because it's Danganronpa 2. Where'd she go?
Yeah.
Oh, she's there. Where the fuck did she go? You can't hide from me. I know the game's a simulation, you little fuck, but you can't hide from me. Get it out. That was terrifying. My God.
If we wanted to be pedantic about where she goes, I think she goes underneath uh um Soda and Hall
But
Monitor. Like I think
yeah,
she's just the dirt worst.
but not as bad
Yeah.
as the degenerates.
Yeah, not as bad as the one who's, yeah.
Bad, really bad sex pests. Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go. In Ibuki,
She was like my non-important favorite of the game, I
yeah,
think. Solid B, I'd
yeah,
say.
I think she's in B. Uh, would I put her there or there?
I think I'd put her over Chihiro.
Like there?
Yeah.
Cool. I stand with that. Yeah, I liked her. I wish she was in the game longer.
Yeah.
Oh god, this fucker. They name began
Oh
with
god.
M.
Mikon was her name.
Mekon. Yeah,
See, the problem
fucking.
here is that I hate what she stands for in
Mhm.
the game's writing
I hate the
way more
trope, I hate the character, and I hate the twist. Because even when
like
you finish the game and you understand what the twist was, it's still not good. Like, you know what I
yeah, it's
mean?
still bad. I think that the character herself is just kind of the anxious caregiver is
I'm so scared
fine.
and I
I
don't know
think
what to do and I speak like this the whole game and I'm sorry. Like, I hate it. It annoys me.
I think that the fan service is disgusting. I think
True.
that the tiny brat bullying her the whole time just also like okay, the whole thing
I
of
love that we don't remember her name. I love
she
that we don't
bullies
remember
her
her name.
the whole time, and then Mikon retaliates eventually, but it's not even because she actually snapped.
It's because
Just because
Monokuma
she
came up with the bullshit. He was like,
yeah
oh yeah.
yeah there's like no like her agency was already gone. There was nothing. It's just very gross writing all around for on this game's part with
Mm,
her.
totally. What are we saying, F then?
Definitely F.
Where in F?
I
Like
guess
just
give her
above
the
Brat?
yeah, just above the tiny brat. Yeah.
Okay. Next up, I can't remember what his fucking name was. All I know is he used to say that he needed to shit a lot.
Uh, his name
You remember
is
H?
no began
Okay.
with an N.
Don't remember. Nekamaru?
Nekamaru. There you
At
go.
the last minute, he got it in at the last minute. He got it in.
Nekamaru once he
I'd
died but
stick him in
didn't die.
D, dude. I'd stick him in
Dude,
D.
dude, he did not need to survive Monokuma's smiting.
No. I'd put him above imposter, below.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't.
When all you remember about a character is he said he needed to shit a lot, like that's not a good quality.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. And then
Ugh.
the man, the myth, the legend.
He's my other favorite character in the game.
I don't care what anybody fucking says. I'm sticking him over here.
Yeah.
Dude. I don't give a
Yeah.
shit.
Like,
These three all get plot fucking armor, and that's why he's not further above. Dude.
yeah, basically. Gundam is great.
Fucking legend of a character, dude. Like actually
Ugh.
hilarious. And again, makes that sacrifice absolute Chad move through and through the whole time.
Yeah, honestly,
It
like
was like
everyone's
I'm
out
gonna.
here dying slowly of starvation or whatever. He's like,
He's
well,
also only blackened. They didn't actually kill somebody because that was a fucking robot. So
yeah, that was a
he
robot.
yeah, absolute Chad to the very end. And then Sonya kept the hamsters. What a great fucking
Yeah.
what a great arc. What a go. Right, fucking this thing.
Monami.
Monami. What do we think of Monami?
Usami was her name before Monokuma.
Usami!
D.
Yeah. Where in D? Like low D or high D?
I could put her above Nekamaru.
That's
Yeah.
fair. She's not as bad as some of these fuckers, but you know, like
Monokuma could have just killed her at the beginning, and I think that would have been fine.
yeah, I feel like
Like I
keeping her at the
understand
first,
the reason to have her initially as being like the old bait and switch for, for whatever reason they felt the need to do that, but
yeah,
she
totally.
didn't need to survive past that. I think that was silly, and every time she showed up, even Hajime got tired of her.
Yeah. But yeah, there you go. Danganronpa 2 fans, that is how that's how we sorted your favorites. Again, the only one that I've seen that's controversial so far is Nagito. That's the only one where I'm looking at it where I'm like, some people might come for us for that one. But
Yeah.
oh, we didn't do our Junko check. Junko check.
Oh, right. Utilized so much worse than this one.
Agreed.
Ugh.
Agreed. Not needed, really.
Not at all. Like, I don't
It's
really.
just yeah.
I don't. Danganronpa 2 is weird too because like usually when I look at where things go wrong with these games, I can kind of suss out a way it could have been better. I
Yeah.
don't know if I could come up with any plausible solutions for Danganronpa 2's ending problem.
No. No,
Besides
it's
just a blanket make it shorter.
yeah, I agree. Um, I mean, I'm still fine to leave her there because
Yeah.
like there's a certain, she's kind of iconic, unfortunately, just from being her. So I'm fine with her staying there. Uh, I feel like this is also a good time to mention before the Danganronpa 2 fans vacate the premises because that's all they care about. That your game is dumb, and I guess the plot twist within the first fucking 30 seconds of the game booting up. So fuck you. And I genuinely did.
Mhm.
And Hunter was watching me do it because I
Sam
was
was
streaming it.
watching.
Yeah, was it Sam? Yeah,
Yeah, because he made the error of also reacting to it,
yeah.
thus
Uh,
confirming it.
because
I
yeah,
would not have done that.
because the screen went all glitchy, and then I just went, it's a simulation, and then Sam just just fucking like mumbled to himself, "Damn it!" I'm like, yeah, got it. Ding 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 ding. I'm the winner.
Yeah.
No one, no plot twist can escape my gaze unless it's extremely obvious. Um, it's Danganronpa V3 time. Everybody. The most controversial game in the series.
Best cast by far.
Best cast by far. My favorite game in the series. Fun fact,
Yeah.
if you didn't know that about me, this one's my favorite. Some people hate the ending. I actually like the ending to an extent, but also I think what's interesting about Danganronpa V3 is some people take the ending extremely literal. When I feel like the whole point of the ending is to question everything, but
You see,
that's my
the
whole
thing
thing with
about
it.
the ending, it's the execution of the ending that
Mm-hmm.
is my beef, where it is very much just exponentially the same problem as the other two, where it goes on
100%.
for way too long and assaults your senses. And by that point, I was like, my eyes were glazed over and I was like sliding out of my chair by the time that it was
Yeah.
getting towards the end where I'm like, please stop it. I've heard this is the 7,000th season. It would have been 53rd, but
Yeah.
the 53rd season of Danganronpa so many times. I want to
Yeah.
be javelined into a brick wall.
I will say though, regardless of what you think of the ending, and
Still generated,
a lot
still
of
the game that
conversation,
generates the most emotion for me.
and it's like, I still think V3 is a very clever title for it. Looking back at it in retrospect, I think that, especially because they did the anime and called it Danganronpa 3, and everyone was like, oh,
Yeah.
that's weird. And then it's V3. I'm like, that's actually rather clever. As clever as you can be. Obviously, people who actually know Roman numerals will be like, that doesn't make sense. But, they couldn't do the actual Roman numeral for 50. Like, they couldn't do it. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Um, let's talk about these characters. Quite a lot that I like. Let's start
Yeah.
with Kaede. I really like Kaede.
For it seems silly to say that I would put her in S tier since she's only in the first
Mm-hmm.
chapter, but also that's how I feel.
No, I agree, really. I actually do agree. Uh, I'd put her just above, again, plot armor. I'm like there. That's where I'd put her.
Yeah. Like the first chapter of V3 I think is probably just as far as grading on the curve if it's the one that made me feel the most. It would be my favorite chapter of the series.
Oh, I think like it's chapter 5 of Danganronpa 2 and chapter 1 of V3. I think are the two best chapters in Danganronpa.
Yeah.
Like I feel V3 chapter 1 is almost a game in of itself. It is the first 6-7 hours of the game. Um,
Yeah.
and I think it's masterfully done. I really do. I think it's the only criticism I have, and I love it because Kaede's, and Erica Harlika's performance is so good that it resonates that emotion. My only thing is, and don't get me wrong, I love Shuichi too. Having a female protagonist for a whole Danganronpa game would have been a lot of fun, just from a differentiating perspective. I
Yeah,
think if you
yeah.
played as
Like
Shuichi first and then you swapped to Kaede, I feel like that would have been more like, oh, that's a more refreshing thing instead of going, okay, and now you're stuck with
I also
Boy
feel like you
McGee.
could have pulled that off really well too, since if you would have just made Shuichi the ultimate detective and
Yeah,
more like Kyoko
yeah,
and then
100%.
killed him, you could have basically had the same kind of arc
Yeah,
with I don't know, you could have made Kaede a little more a little less confident, I guess.
But no, I really like Katie.
Yeah,
She's great.
I think I think when people ask me who the best protagonist is, I say her first and then clarify. But if you're being, um, if you want to, be annoying about it, then fine. Shuichi is my favorite.
I like Shuichi as well. Don't get me wrong. I think
Shuichi is really
Shuichi
good. He has
is
the benefit
great.
of being the main character who actually gets an arc.
Yeah. Where would you
Good
put
arc
him?
too. I, s- I s- I still think it probably S tier.
I agree. I'd put the both pair of them together. I
Yeah,
guess you get the edge a tiny bit just because you actually have the whole game. Um, this is the problem: is a lot of V3's cast is going to end up in the higher tier
yeah,
because
yeah. It's because it's the better cast.
let me talk. Let's talk about Maki, right? Uh,
Oh,
fun fact about Maki: she's my favorite character. Period. In Danganronpa, she is my favorite character.
she's a good one.
She was originally, when we talk about the Sonyas and the Aois, she was originally my, oh, she probably isn't going to mean anything in the end, but she's like, I like her. And then she ended up being one of, if not the
Just
most
the
important
great,
character in the,
just the
yeah.
best. Yeah.
I think she's great.
Uh,
I genuinely, I really love Maki. I love both of these two. I fucking love both of these
oh
two,
God, they're the
genuinely.
best.
Um,
Uh,
Again, talking about emotions and as emotions go through the game, like there's so many good arcs in this game. So many of the characters get such good arcs, and I don't think it's obviously it stems from the game. This game's the longest of the Danganronpa games. It's not even close. Danganronpa 1 and 2 are roughly like 20 hours, whereas this one's like 35. So you've got plenty more
yeah,
time with these characters. But no, I love Maki's arc. I really do. I think it's really great. Um, the fact that you don't get many people that survive Danganronpa 3 V3, I think is
yeah,
great. I really do think, especially when you have the best cast, probably you have the best cast of the series, and you lose a majority of them. Um, Having three at the end is fucking crazy when you think about it.
yeah, for sure. Like I
I
think
wasn't
that
guessing that. In my head, I'm always like, oh, around six people survive. So in my head, I was like, oh yeah, six people. It'd probably be Shuichi. Yeah, probably Maki and Kaito. The witch girl refused to die, so I guess the witch girl. And I was like, I guess
your
cosplayer and whatever is gonna be.
your
Um,
messages while you were playing three, I think, were my favorite, just because of
yeah,
how sideways everything goes.
yeah, dude. Like how everything kind of turns on its head. Um, but yeah, I don't want to populate S too heavily, dude, but I feel like we've got some great fucking characters
It,
here, dude. Like
uh,
I don't feel like
yeah,
there's any
I think
avoiding
that
it.
I think that Maki, Kaito, and Shuichi as like a trio have a really good like dynamic throughout the whole game.
They're the best
Essentially,
trio, in my opinion. I think they're the best trio.
I'd
You've got
scarcely say that
Byakuya,
there's
Makoto, and Kyoko, and then you've got Nagito, Chiaki, and Hajime,
they're like a trio retroactively though. I hardly call them a trio.
I feel I believe in Danganronpa 200. That's what you call a love triangle.
Yeah,
Except everyone loves Hajime.
yeah,
Um, Even Hajime loves Hajime. No, I'd put both of these up in S. Um,
yeah, definitely.
I don't know where I'd put them in compare. I like it.
Honestly, I'd
Fuck it.
put I could see both of might be controversial here, but I like
In
both
fact,
of
I'd put
them
them
more
above
than
them all though.
Makuma.
Can we dethrone our Lord and Savior?
Well, at a
Believe.
certain point, I don't care about icon status over actual quality.
Yeah, true.
You
You
know?
got a point. These two are the fucking goats. Dude. Like, I love
Yeah,
Kaito. I love him. Let's speak
Kaito's
on
so
Kaito a little
good.
bit because
Yeah,
obviously we're just kind of chucking him in there without talking about him.
he's he's the because he's not really a sidekick or he's more like a hype man for Shuichi throughout the game
He
rather
is
than
he is the confidence that Shuichi lacks.
yeah. That's why it's such a good like dynamic.
Yeah, and I think that's why Chapter 5 is fucking again a massive gut punch
Yeah,
of a chapter.
definitely.
Chapter 5s are always some of the best chapters in Danganronpa just because it's usually when the big plot twist happens and also
Yeah, it's
just
usually when
a,
things
lo-
get
a, a big
serious.
emotional punch like with, Chiaki's death in Danganronpa 2 really fucking hits you like a Because mainly because I'm like, no, don't leave me with these fucking idiots. No.
Legit, at the end of that chapter, and it was like the little intermission period before things went back to normal. Like, I looked at everybody else, barring Fuyuhiko, and I was like, ugh.
Ugh, yeah, that's yeah. And then with and Kaito going, and then it just being the five of them left, and it's
Yeah.
like, oh, it's just like the hole it leaves, the break that like Maki's whole like great, literally great art, love it, fantastic. All you fuckers, God, you let a little bit of an ending that you maybe disagree with make you fucking hate the best fucking game, dude. Like honestly, like
God,
God
they
damn
would
it.
not survive Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
I didn't like the last 20 minutes. Dog shit. Like
Yeah.
actual dog shit. Ugh. Honestly. Right. Wizard girl. I don't remember her name. Her name
Her name
is.
is.
I don't remember. Himiko?
There you go.
Himiko. I like Himiko. She's quite funny. She
I like
amuses
her.
me.
As far as like the survivors in the
As survivors
games,
go, yeah.
yeah,
This game,
she's real good.
Danganronpa V3 has the best survivors.
Yeah,
There's
you
not a
could you
single
could move
person in
around how
Danganronpa V3 who survives where I'm like, oh, you shouldn't have survived. I'm like, yeah, no,
you,
to be fair.
you could move around who the survivors are in a lot of ways, and I'd still say they're the best survivors.
Yeah.
But no, I think she'd be like, I don't know, high B.
Yeah. I would put her like there.
Yeah, that checks out.
Rentaru.
He's another one where it's more of the conceptually interesting kind of thing, since we don't get much of him.
He is, but you get enough of him, especially near the
Yeah,
end, because he kind of comes back a little bit near the end, because you get a lot of his backstory in chapter 5 again,
yeah.
which I think is, well, V3 goes on so many fucking plot twists where it's like,
Oh my
how do we
god.
keep up, where it's like, you have for a moment, it's like, oh yeah, it's carrying on from the Hope's Peak stuff. It's a space station. It's all this other stuff. There was literally like so many plot twists to Danganronpa 3. Um, which, again, I think with, the whole idea of challenging reality and what's real and what's not, I think it's really funny that the game does kind of play with that where it does,
It just
especially near the end,
assaults your senses.
tries to really get you as many times as it possibly can. Uh, I think Rentaru is very interesting as a premise. You
Yeah,
know?
like the whole ultimate survivor kind of thing, once you actually know what that means. It was very
Yeah.
funny to realize that was his talent and then be like, you died first.
Yeah.
What a talent you have.
And
But
it adds into it adds into the tragedy of the whole situation of with Kaede as well, that not only
definitely.
did Rentaru, the only person that knew what was happening, get killed off first, then also, you know, one of easily an early game, one of your favorite characters then gets later you find out was framed for that murder and didn't even actually fucking commit it. So it's
Yeah,
like, pretty tragic. I would put him in the seas somewhere. That's where I'd put him.
probably the upper part, I would
I'd probably
say.
put him like
Um,
there.
yeah.
God, I do not remember what tennis guy's name is, but he's a fucking Chad. I just
Oh, dude, I wish he was in the game more.
yeah,
Like,
same,
legit,
dude.
of all of the
Same.
characters who die early,
Hmm.
he's like the one that I wish didn't.
Yeah. What was his name?
His name was Ryoma.
I knew it began with an R as well. I was like, yeah, what is it? Ryoma. I love Ryoma. I think he's pretty great. Especially as one of
Yeah,
those earlier game, characters. Like I would put him in B or A, to be honest.
I could see an argument for A, especially since he's also impressively a murder victim that I feel like could have been around longer. Where usually the perpetrators are like
The one that
they
you
add
want
up
to
the
stick around a bit
motivations.
better. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I would happily put it, dude. I'd put him like right in the middle of A, dude. I think he's a really
yeah,
strong character. I like how he's like, yeah, if you want to kill somebody, kill me, and this is how we'll do it. It's like I'll work with you to
yeah.
kill
It's
me.
real cool. I like that. I like that his talents and his personality are like seemingly divorced from each other in a way.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
like, the way he's all you think that the game's more base urges would be to make him like the ultimate prisoner or something.
yeah, totally. Uh,
I
I
like
don't.
his inexplicable superpowers too. Like
Yeah,
remember when Gonta was able to or was like rounding everybody up and he was just able to like I don't know, flash step away from him
yeah.
like a dash move in a Metroidvania.
Oh hell yeah, dude. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He mastered the quick time event. It was pretty sick. But yeah, pretty solid character. I can't remember what her name is. Obviously, she's the ultimate maid. I don't remember what her name is though.
Her
Uh,
name is Karumi.
okay. There we
I
go.
was taking a second there. It sounded like you were coming up with something for a
No,
minute.
I had nothing for her. Uh, I thought she was interesting.
The whole twist motivation for why she does her thing was a bit,
Dumb.
yeah. I was
Yeah, I
like,
agree.
yeah, I was like, but her execution was savage.
Yeah, very.
Yeah,
Uh,
like, um, and in general, I liked her while she was around. I thought she was cool.
I'd stick her in like C
Yeah.
somewhere. I don't know where in C I'd put her.
Um, eh, next to Rantaro, I think. Yeah, right there.
Is it Angela Watson? What's is it? It begins with A, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Can't remember what her name is.
I don't know if
A
Angela is like the formal version, but people just called her Angie.
Angie. Yeah, so it must be
Yeah.
Angela. I'm gonna guess it's
Yeah.
Angie. But anyway, Angie. Uh,
I think she's one of the weaker characters in this game.
totally agree.
Yeah, like
I think the weaker
especially
characters all pop off, and when I mean
yeah.
pop off, I mean pop off of this planet
Yeah.
in the same chapter. I think the three weakest characters of this game all are involved in the final in that chapter 3.
Yeah,
Which for
like
better or worse, I mean, get them gone all at the same time. Fair play, because the second half of the game needs that runtime.
yeah. Cuz like the whole weird cult thing that she was doing I did not vibe with.
Yeah,
Um the Atua thing in general, I did not vibe with.
I'd put her somewhere in D.
Yeah.
I'd probably like
Um
put her like there. No, fucking where? This is odd. Like
I think
there.
yeah, that seems about right.
She doesn't say that she needs to shit every 5 minutes, so goes a bit higher.
Yeah.
Maybe. Oh no, let's
She
fuck
doesn't get
her.
a get out of jail free card when she actually died.
Yeah, I can't remember what her name is. All I remember, degenerate male. That's all I remember. To begin with a
Her name
T.
is Tenko.
Yes, you begin with a T. I'll take that. Initials, I'll take. Yeah, I think she was fucking trash as well.
I think
uh,
she does like the same thing as Mahiru. I think she does it a little better simply because I can remember more about her.
okay. I will meet you in the middle and put her there then.
Yeah, yeah, I wasn't gonna argue for any higher than C.
Because I do not like her at all. Um, but I can't disagree that they are basically the same character, and I
Yeah,
guess she
well,
does
it's
make
just
more of an impact because she's more annoying. Um,
yeah, and Himiko liked her,
yeah.
so that made it and led into it.
God, I can't remember what this guy's name is. I just know he sucked.
The annoying thing is like I really liked him up until
You liked his design, yeah,
I
yeah.
liked his design and I thought his personality was pretty cool up until they did the motivation for his murders.
Wah, 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 wah. Somewhere around here where we put him on the degenerate scale.
I think he can go like next to Mikan, I'd say.
You say there?
Yeah.
Bro, he had a thing for his sister. Does that not make Fine, we'll leave him there. I feel like that's harsh, even though I know that she's a fucking twat. Like, I feel like it's harsh. You
Yeah.
know? Now, fuck it. We're keeping the degenerates on one side. I don't care. We're keeping them three together. I don't care. That's where we leave. But no, what can we say? That's just the awful fucking plot twist. Like,
Whole
genuinely, like,
twist, like
awful.
stupid.
Chapter 3's always suck. It's not my least favorite chapter 3. That still goes to Danganronpa 2. Um, but I hate the resolution of this one. I think it's really
Yeah, this
dumb.
one
The only
sucks.
positive is I think up until that point, it's an interesting double murder. Before that point, I think it's very
Yeah,
obvious who's doing it because it's like, oh, it's the weird seancey one. I wonder who it is. Is it the weird guy with the mask and the vibe?
the most annoying thing about this one is the squandered potential because they like almost get there with the what if the double murder was perpetrated by two different people
If they
and
ever
then they
make a
don't do it.
fourth, if I ever find out that they are developing a fourth Danganronpa game, I will be flying over to Japan personally and knocking on the door and
The
going,
two groundbreaking
two killers,
innovations they
two
can
killers.
do
Yeah,
is female protagonist whole game, and then two killers for the double murder chapter,
I think it would have been
or
perfect.
forego a double murder chapter,
It
or
would have been,
move it around.
it would have been perfect, dude. Because if Kazuichi had killed one of them, not Kazuichi, what's his fucking? It begins with K, doesn't it? What's his name? Oh my god, what's his name?
Or no, Korakio's the guy with the mask.
Evil
Um,
Emperor guy.
Omieda.
This guy?
It,
Is that?
oh,
What's his name? I'm blanking his name. He's so good as
I'm.
well.
It starts with a Kokichi.
Kokichi. I knew it began with a K. Yeah, Kokichi. Um, if Kokichi had killed one of them, just to start him off on his
Yeah,
little terror radius, like his reign of
yeah,
terror. There's ways that they could have gone about it. I do like Kokichi's fake death though. It's very funny in chapter
yeah.
3, especially because, like I say, it's the thing about that chapter 3 is it fucking sucks in terms of our resolution, but the tone and the way how creepy it was a very creepy chapter. Like
Yeah, the
genuinely, it was
actual
the
like
creepiest
seance
moment.
part was very cool. I thought that was neat, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
someone's gonna be dead, but that's fine.
Yeah, it actually felt like there was tension there, dude. And then it was almost like a jump scare when he goes, "I'm alive." I was like, "Oh fucking hell!" He actually gave me
Yeah,
a bit of a jump there. Like, yeah, it's a shame that the rest of it sucks because there's at least some good elements to that chapter 3 that
yeah.
save it over 2's despair disease. Uh, is her name Mew?
Miu, I believe. Yeah,
Yeah. Uh, I don't hate Mew. I actually there are some moments where she's very annoying. There's also some moments where she's very funny. She kind of balances
yeah.
out in my mind.
It is funny because like she's the kind of character that would get on my nerves under most circumstances.
Yeah,
I think,
same.
but uh, she wasn't bad. I think that a lot of uh, her contributions to the group are really good as well.
Yeah,
Mm.
like I say, I think a lot of her dialogue is very funny, and I think she stays the right amount of time.
Yeah,
Like when I was getting into
definitely.
chapter 4, I made it very. I think I said to you in chapter 4 as I was getting into chapter 4 is like I'm pretty much certain that Mia will either be the killer or the victim of this chapter. She'll be gone
I
in
think you
chapter 4.
pretty much picked the characters that die in chapter 4 off of like you didn't know who was going to be who, but you had them
Yeah, I
selected.
knew that it was Gonta and Miu that would be the two that were going in chapter 4. I just knew of
Yeah.
like from a gut feeling. Uh, I'd put her in like low B,
Yeah,
maybe
that feels right.
like either there or do you think above Chiaki?
Uh, Chihiro,
Chihiro,
I think
sorry, fucking hell.
above
Right
sounds
there,
about right. Yeah.
they're kind of the same vibe.
Oh yeah, those two interacting would be fun.
Gonta, I love Gonta, dude. I fucking love Gonta. What a tragedy when we talk about arcs and stuff like that. Ugh,
Oh yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, it's chapter fours go. Chapter fours, Danganronpa one's obviously got the best chapter four, not even close. But also Danganronpa 2 by far is the worst chapter 4. Fucking Fruit House.
Yeah,
So
one of the worst of the series.
yeah.
Period.
So you know, this one sits in the middle. I don't necessarily like the video game kind of simulation aspect of it, the stupid little 2D area. I'm not a huge fan of that stuff. But in terms of the actual stuff we've gone to, I feel like I really like the stuff that they did. I feel really bad about the stuff that happens with Gonta.
Yeah,
Um, again, how he's one of those ones where it's not really like in his control. A lot of it isn't.
yeah.
A lot of it isn't his fault. Um, where would you put him, Hunter?
Upper B, maybe low A.
Yeah, I was thinking like either. God, that feels fucking wrong. But I feel like he's a gentleman. He's a fucking gentleman. Tip of
Yeah,
the hat for now. Trying to keep things as balanced as possible here.
yeah.
We're doing rather well. Kibo, dude, fucking hate this dude. I'm
Dude,
not a
him and
fan
his
of him.
stupid persecution complex. I hate it
Yeah,
so much.
you're a robo racist or whatever. Why don't you get
And
to
whatever he
fucking
says, I'm like, man, maybe if you punched him in the throat or something instead of complaining about it, you wouldn't have to deal with this.
dude? I'd stick him in Makoto territory, dude. Like that's where I'd stick him.
Yeah, yeah, like D tier is
Like,
about what I'm
like,
feeling.
like there. That's where I'd stick him. Like there.
Yeah, I did not care for Kibo.
Same. Kokichi. Is it a controversial opinion that I think Kokichi is just a better shit stirrer than Nagito? I just think he does it so perfectly. He really like because here's the thing is Nagito is like really trying his hardest, whereas Kokichi feels like he is just being the biggest prick on the planet just for
Yeah,
fun. Like there's no despair in him. There's no agenda a lot of the time. He is just being a prick. And I just kind of respect it. I respect a lot of
yeah,
what he's after, you know?
I know what you mean. It's one of those things where the story takes you on a bit of a roller coaster with him, I think, where if not for chapter 5, I'd be inclined to rank him a little lower.
Mm,
Because I do think his shtick starts to get old
yeah.
after a
Oh,
while.
yeah. I hate the bit where he's like, I'm good, or am I?
Yeah,
I'm a criminal, or am I? Like, that stuff at the start, I think, is a bit boring, but then as chapter 3, 4, and then definitely 5, as he kind of builds again,
yeah,
I'm like, he's very similar to Nagito. First couple of chapters, could not care for him. As he builds up, respect it. And again, he does his gambit like Nagito. He does his
yeah.
gambit, and it pays off in spades. It's like it's actual utter fucking chaos.
And not only did his gambit worked too,
Yeah,
like he duped Monokuma.
yeah. It's like again, it's a first. He actually dupes Monokuma, which is kind
Yeah,
of crazy. Uh, I'd stick him right with Nagito probably. That's where I'd probably
yeah, I'd
stick
put
him,
him above him, like
like there,
right next to him. Yeah.
right next to him. Don't worry, guys. We saved the worst for last. Look at these 6 fuckers. Ooh.
Oh,
Mwah, the piece de resistance of fucking hatred. Uh, looks like we're starting off with who is personally my favorite,
the mute
Monodam.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Monodam's my favorite. He's
I
great.
think
The way that he kills one of the other ones just because he was sick of him. Great character, dude. Great character. I love him. He was like, "You won't bully me anymore, will you?"
I'm pretty sure he kills like 2 of them, doesn't he?
Yeah, I
He
think
kills
so.
the blue one and the
Yellow one.
leopard print one. Yeah,
Yeah. I love him. I genuinely, he's
yeah.
like by far my
He's
favorite, and it's not
if he
even
was the
close.
only one of them, I wouldn't hate this as a concept so much.
Like I genuinely do like. Don't get me wrong, their theme tune's a banger. Rise and Shine Earthsign is a bop,
It's
but
great.
um, I would happily put him in like if Monomi is D and Monokuma is S, I'd happily put him like low B. Like I do kind of just vibe with his shit, you know. I just like
Yeah,
the idea of him being like, I will make this less insufferable for you by killing off 2/3 of the of this cast and then killing myself.
yeah.
Uh, is this guy? Is this one Monokid?
I
I don't
honestly
remember.
don't remember. I
All
don't
I remember was he was
remember.
the rock star kind of guy, bit of an asshole. Um, I mean, fucking Monophy and fucking this guy can both go in F as far as I'm concerned. They're both pests.
I think in my humble opinion, all four of the other ones go in F.
Where in F though on the scale? Like,
Um I think hmm,
it's like, you
do
know,
do I
you
hate
can.
them more or less than the tiny brat?
Hmm. You
They're
see,
more of a persistent annoyance, I think.
the red. Here's the thing: is I don't think the red one would be as bad until he started having a thing for his sister, and then we're getting in that territory again. So I feel like these two need to go next to this fucker because they all have the same kink, and I'm not into it. I'm shaming it. So
I
they're
think
definitely. In fact, no, he was like,
s-
you know, at least he's a fucking human.
I think I was about to say I'm like you're not wrong, but also they're like robots that I wish were dead anyway, so that was like the least of my problems.
True, true. Uh, these two. Doesn't this guy die like straight away?
He does, but God, is he the most obnoxious one?
You're
Like,
right. Down there. Um, this one was probably the better, like the least offensive of the rest of them. I feel.
I think least offensive because he wasn't as obnoxious as Blue Guy, and then
There you go.
also has the decency to
There
die.
you go.
Yeah.
In that order. Lovely. And then finally, the ultimate cosplay, the ultimate mastermind. I don't remember her name, uh, at all.
Oh, it's um, hmm. For some
We're both
reason,
stumped.
and I know it's wrong. Yeah, checks out because it's hilarious. I can't that we're both forgetting her name because most people kind of just shrugged and pointed at her to be the villain because she's the kind of by default who it would be.
Out of the ones that were left, yeah.
Yeah, I do believe
Um,
it started with an S.
yeah. I can't Google it, or else I would.
Um,
um,
retrieving this information. You see, the problem is I keep looking at her and wanting to say Sayaka, but I know that's wrong. It's because she looks like Sayaka with her
that's the
stupid
other.
blue
That's the other
hair.
blue hair. There you
The
go.
other blue-haired bland girl.
But no. What do I? Oh, well, we can talk.
Samugi is her name.
Sumugi, yeah.
So it's not an it doesn't technically start with an S because there's a
Some,
silent T.
yeah.
I think I've probably forgotten her name because it was replaced by a River City Girls character with the same name that
Yeah,
is
the
better.
ultimate cosplayer. Um, yeah. I mean, I think there's a lot of stuff, right, where it's like a lot of how you feel about this. I don't. However you feel about the ending of this game, I think everybody's in agreement that this character is pretty fucking mediocre.
Yeah, like
Because you know the cosplay disease or whatever it was. You know when she was like, "Oh, I
oh the
can only cosplay
Cospox.
fictional." Yeah, I can only
Yeah,
cosplay fictional characters. Which you know, again, she's the mastermind of this whole thing. She could lie about that as well.
yeah.
You know, like I don't know. She's screaming D to me.
Yeah, D. Um
Like, do I hate her more than Kaibo?
I'd be inclined to put her above Kibo because, like, before she was revealed as the villain, I wasn't like wishing for
It
her
was all
demise
right.
or hoping that she would just shut up. You know, like she didn't have dialogue. We're like, man, stop it, stop talking.
So there
Really,
we go.
she's just a nothing character until she was the everything character.
Yeah. So Hunter,
Yep.
anything that we're looking at here? Any red flags before we lock it in?
No, this is about what what I feel is accurate.
We've kept it pretty balanced, all things considered. I think we have done a very good job of keeping the tiers, you know, relatively balanced here. I was expecting, I don't know why in my head, I was like, will we be too harsh and put so many of them in D? But I think we've done a pretty bang up job, really.
Yeah, everyone
Again,
who's
I
in the
think the
F tier
only
deserves it.
I think the only controversial takes that we actually may have is I think that these two little chuckle fucks might be seen as too low. I think that, you
I
might
think
have a
people would
couple maybe.
definitely think that Nagito is too low,
Yeah.
and Junko probably.
Junko probably.
I don't think that Kokishi has as large or aggressive as a fan base.
Who knows? Let us know in the comments by disliking the video if you
Yeah,
think that Kokichi
I
should have
think
it.
mildly controversial as well is probably putting Maki and Kaito above Monokuma, but who cares?
That's my fucking list, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
If it was up to me, I'd move Chiaki up there as well, just to fuck you, just to piss about with you. Um,
Honestly, yeah, if it was like solely my own choice, I think Monokuma would be at the r- very right side.
fuck it, we ball.
Yeah.
There we go. That's it. Lock it in, ladies and gentlemen. There it is. The ultimate Danganronpa character tier list. For all of you wonderful audio listeners, we'll read it out for you because a lot of this will be nonsense to you guys. But in S tier, we have Maki, Kaito, Chiaki, Kiriko, Byakuya, Shuichi, Kaede, Gundam Tanaka, and of course the homie Monokuma. In A, we have I've already forgotten her name.
Sakura.
Sakura, thank you. Is that Fuyuhiko?
Fuyuhiko.
Yeah, perfect. Tennis guy,
Ryoma.
Ryoma, Celestia. Uh, fucking, I can't remember all these names. Onto doing it all at once is bringing command. Begins with them. Mondo,
Yeah,
Peko,
Mondo.
Gonta, uh, Kokichi. It's sorry, B tier. Kokichi, uh, fucking dickhead,
Nagito.
Nagito. Thank you. Witch girl,
Himiko.
Himiko, Junko, Aoi, fucking Ibuki, Miu,
Miu.
Chia,
Chihiro.
Chihiro, Monodam, you legend.
Oh, sevens.
You'd be an S tier if you'd killed all of them, Monodam. You'd be an S tier.
Honestly, though.
Uh, in C tier, we have got everybody's favorite Hajime. We have got Ryoma. We have got
Rantaro.
Rentaro. Thank you. We've got
It's funny
fucking
that we put Johnny Youngbosch next to himself there.
Yeah, of course we did. It's the way it was supposed to be. We got Sonya, never mind. We have got fucking hell, Sayaka. We've got of course, it's the
Mukuro
one, the only
Ikusaba.
Mukurai Kusama, the 16th student of Hope's Peak Academy. You got Akane, you've got Tenko, you've got Mahiru. Then in D, you have got Makoto
Makoto.
Naegi. You have got what's his fucking name?
Leon.
Leon. Thank you. You've got Hero. You've got Samuka. Fucking already forgotten her name.
Samugi. Yeah.
Samugi. Thank you. We've got Kibo. We've got fucking Toko. We have got
Slash
fuck-
Genocide Jack.
Genocide Jack by himself would be an F tier, by the way. Just want to make that extremely clear. Monomi. Then you have got Angie. Then you have got Guy who shits himself.
Nekomaru.
Nekumaru. Then you've got the ultimate imposter, Fatuya. And then in F, we've got Soda. We have got
Aka.
fucking Hall Monitor, yeah. Taka. We have got God, I can't remember her name, but she annoys me to death. Maid Girl.
Mikan.
Mikan, thank you. We've got
Nurse
the
girl.
gremlin that we have already. Neither
Yeah,
of
the
us can
tiny
remember
brat
the
that none of
name.
us will remember.
She had a moon pendant like thing in her hair. We're not looking up her name. She sucks.
Yeah,
Then after that, you've got
Korakio.
Korakio. Then you've got fucking all four of the other Mono Cubs, who I do not remember the names of, to be honest. I think one of them was Mono Kid. I think one of them
I
was.
genuinely couldn't assign the names properly to any of them besides Mono Fee is the girl.
Yeah, Monophy, and then Mono Dam is the robot, and then Mono Kid is, I think, is the red one. I don't remember. They all suck, bar Mono Dam, 07s. And then rounding it out, our last two, the worst two, are Hifumi and fucking Teru Teru. Garbage characters. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. And just like that, there goes nearly 2 hours of your life. Was it worth it? Let us know. I think we did a good job, Hunter. I think we did a good job.
I feel good about this list.
I do too. I think that we have come to the definitive
It's
list
nice to
there of
have somebody
Danganronpa characters.
sensible to talk to about this series. Because, like, if I had to just go and fish out conversation for this on my own, it'd be the Wild West. Somebody'd shoot me in the eyeballs for thinking that Makoto sucks.
Yeah, the problem with links are on the screen right now. By the way, you can go and follow us on Twitter or Blue Sky. Keep up to date with what we do outside the podcast and all that jazz. Um, I think the problem is, and it's like I love Danganronpa for what it is. I think it's very goofy. I think it's very funny. I like talking about it. But it's built a fan base that are very passionate and very deranged. Uh, and some of them are fun to talk to and open for having conversations, and some of them are batshit crazy, and you just kind of have to ignore them, let them in the corner. Then there's the third group who are the degenerates that we lock in the basement and we don't let them out. We don't let them see the
Yeah,
sunlight.
like
Um,
if your favorite character is anybody in F tier,
Seek
please,
help.
yeah,
The door's right there. Don't let it hit you on the way out.
yeah,
Um,
especially
but
like the bottom half of F tier.
no, if you like, if you like any of the Mono Cubs, please, other than
Uh,
Mono Dam, obviously, please step out the
that
room.
is a red flag.
Now, however, if you think Rise and Shine Ursan is a bop, come on in. Maybe subscribe, because
Yeah,
that is a good opinion, and we respect that. Uh, but yeah, let's wrap it up there. Thank you so much for listening and watching this week, guys. We really appreciate it, especially if you've been listening on audio podcasts with this. It's always a nightmare. I apologize. Remember, there is a YouTube video if you want to actually watch what we're doing instead of just guessing what we're doing from our random ramblings. But we appreciate you regardless. Next week, who knows what's in store? I don't. It's
yeah.
definitely not a Danganronpa tier list, I can promise you that. Or is it?
Come back next week when we tier list all of the. No, there's few enough of them that I think we could do a. We could like legitimately rank every case if we did a video like that.
Hell yeah. Are you a Danganronpa fan who wants more Danganronpa content? Let us know. Uh, give us like 6 to 12 months though, because my gosh,
Yeah.
we need those breaks. But hey, it's been fun. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, guys. We appreciate it. We'll be back same time, same place for whatever we have in store. But until then, have an awesome week, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Toodaloo.